an athlete, as a business person, to make people realize that within themselves they have the ability to change who they are, to do things better, but more importantly, to seek contentment. The book is really about contentment.
Good evening and welcome to this edition of Black Nouveau. I'm Joanne Williams. Remember Sidney Moncrief from the Milwaukee Bucks, number 4? We'll talk with him about his new occupation. He's an author. Rare joins us for some new music, and we'll profile Racine's Cops and Kids program. But we begin this week with Transform Milwaukee. Last April, the state announced plans for a multi-million-dollar project that will eliminate blight and grow businesses in Milwaukee, especially along the 30th Street corridor. We're joined now by Wayman Winston, Executive Director of the Wisconsin Housing and Economic Development Authority, also known as WHEDA. I've always wondered what WHEDA stood for. Now I know.
Yes.
That means you're going to develop more than just the city of Milwaukee. You have big plans to develop large areas, correct?
Yes. The idea of what we're doing in Milwaukee called Transform Milwaukee is to revitalize the industrial spine that runs through the north, south, east sides of the city.
Give me the geography of this so we can visualize it.
Well, it starts north, north of Capitol at an industrial site where some very attractive industrial companies. It runs through what is the traditional 30th Street corridor, a new business park that the city of Milwaukee is working on called Central City, south to the Menominee Valley, east to the port of Milwaukee, and Milwaukee is one of the few American cities that have a deep water port, and then south to the airport. This route that I laid out is a major industrial spine and also a major rail line, and many of the neighborhoods that have built up over time were built to provide housing for the workers who could walk to the various industrial manufacturing jobs that were located in this industrial corridor.
Now, in that huge area are developments that, as you said, grew up over time. How long do you think it's going to take to transform Milwaukee into something where this is all productive areas?
Well, the governor and I announced a commitment of $100 million last year. That was a 2-year commitment. We're now looking at extending that commitment for another 2 years. But the short answer is that WHEDA is looking at a long-term strategy of probably no less than 10 years of investing in this corridor with both WHEDA, other state agencies, and predominantly the private sector.
I was going to say, is this totally a government project, or are there private interests involved too?
It is predominantly a private project. WHEDA is not a state agency. We were created by the state of Wisconsin. We raise capital in the capital markets, and we turn around and lend that to homeowners, small businesses, economic development organizations. And so the work that we've done to date has been done predominantly by the private sector. We've had $80 million worth of loans closed by private organizations, individuals that have invested in the Transform Milwaukee area.
Is $100 million enough?
No, but it indicates WHEDA's commitment and the governor's commitment to improve the neighborhoods of Milwaukee and restore jobs in neighborhoods.
That was my next question. What about the jobs? Are there going to be jobs created as this corridor is redeveloped?
I believe so, and the reason is that our initial efforts over the last 10 months, as I said, we've closed 80 million of the 100 million commitment we made. It was a 2-year commitment, and so it is going phenomenally well. And within every one of these individual decisions that are made by developers and business owners are a commitment to the city, a commitment to transform, and of course through that process of building either housing or business, it results in additional jobs and employment. And again, we're just beginning, but the results we've seen to date has been pretty spectacular.
What's the lure you tell somebody who may want to bring a business from a different state into Milwaukee to transform Milwaukee? How do you tell them that this is the place they should be?
Well, first, I would tell them that Milwaukee is just a great place to do business. Second, the city has phenomenal infrastructure, rail, highway, airport. And then third is that it has a great workforce. This is the workforce that 100 years ago began the global economy. And the companies that are here, mainly that makes products, manufacturers, is that they are now competing globally, and that this would be the place you'd want to be if you want to grow your company and be around other companies that are successfully selling their goods and services all over the world.
But we talked just a little while ago about the quote-unquote skills gap in Milwaukee, which some people say is a myth. We don't have a skills gap, we have a jobs gap. How can you bring businesses here if you don't have the people to take the jobs? Or do we have the people to take the jobs?
Well, we do have the people to take the jobs. The question is what is the level of skills they have? And like so many things, we don't have a command economy. We can't say, Joanne, move your business here. We really have a free market economy, and so what we're really trying to do is create an environment where companies in selecting Transform Milwaukee believe that they will be able to compete, whether it's a domestic market or a global market. But to answer your question directly, working with Department of Children and Family, last year they completed a major assessment of the skills of Milwaukeeans on the north side. And what they found was a pretty eclectic set of skills. There were people who could start work tomorrow, and there were others who not only needed kind of skills to be in the workplace, but because they had been out of work or had never established a practice of work, needed soft skills. They needed to understand what are the requirements to be able to be successful in the workplace. And it was that broad spectrum. This is what I want you and your listeners to know. Milwaukee's Transform Milwaukee area has the youngest workforce by age in the state. And the importance of that is that there are other areas of the state where there aren't workers. The question that we have with this young workforce is giving them the skills and the opportunities to work and support their families.
Well, I want you to come back in a few months and let me know and let us know how the corridor is doing and if Milwaukee is indeed being transformed. We'll keep an eye on it. Thanks for coming and joining us today.
My pleasure.
We appreciate it.
The game would go into overtime at 108 all. The overtime was a stage for the whip-it-like Sid Moncrief as he scored all 6 of the Bucks' overtime points. The Arkansas rookie came of age in the playoffs and dazzled the crowd with uncanny drives to the basket.
Sidney Moncrief played 10 years in the NBA, followed by 17 years in the automotive business. He was a college coach and assistant coach with 2 NBA teams before returning to Milwaukee as an assistant coach with the Bucks. His experiences as an athlete, a business owner managing people, and having customers brought him to conducting workshops and seminars.
And as you know, when you do workshops and seminars, you need a book. So
out of these seminars came 2 passport books, Your Passport to Reinventing You and Your Passport to Becoming a Valuable Team Player.
as I went out to do my seminars on team building, you realize, first of all, only 50% of the people have been on teams, on sport teams. So within our entire workforce of 150 million people, whatever it is now, just think only half of the people have been on a team, sports team or otherwise. So a lot of times corporations, organizations are preaching, be a team player, be a part of the team, all this team, but people don't know what a team is. They don't know what it looks like, what it comprises of, your responsibilities, anything. So as I did my workshop, I said, okay, I can talk about teams, or I can talk about being more personal accountable, which means being a valuable team player. So that's where this book came from, trying to help people along as to understand what it takes to be a better team player. Reinvent You is all about finding peace and contentment, and it's about adjusting, embracing change, becoming more disciplined, just kind of going with the flow. If you get laid off or fired, you adapt, you reinvent who you are to continue to succeed and move forward. So this book is very much about change and adapting to change. I think the reinvention that took place in me came from realizing, what are you passionate about? What do you like to do? What makes you feel good about yourself? And you take all these external things, money, fame, fortune, notoriety, you take all that out of the picture and you say, okay, what makes you happy? What do you like to do? And then you take chances within that. I was coaching with the Golden State Warriors, making pretty good money, and I had a chance to go to China. Now, most people would not have left the NBA for the CBA. China Basketball Association is like nothing like the NBA. I mean, it's totally different. You go to China, and now you feel like when you give someone something, you're really giving them something that they hadn't heard before. And that's called fulfillment. And at some point in life, that's why I wrote these, at some point in life, fulfillment has to be important. Part of reinvention comes from the awareness of what needs to change. You have to embrace change, as we talk about in the book. And sometimes in your home life, I remember when I was first married, it was very difficult, and we had conflict, we had problems within our marriage. And so I had to reinvent who I was as a husband, because I needed to make some adjustments and changes based on things that were happening. As a father, I had to reinvent myself as a father. So reinvention is a part of everyday life, and everything we talk about in the book can be transferred, family, home, anywhere else.
Sidney Moncrief looks at failure as experience.
There's no cap on how many times you can get up and just keep trying. And I tried to use some of my history as an athlete, as a business person, to make people realize that within themselves they have the ability to change who they are, to do things better, but more importantly, to seek contentment. The book is really about contentment, because I go through the times where I made a lot of money, lost money, filed bankruptcy, got divorced. I got all those things in the book to make people realize that, okay, at the end of the day, we have to feel good about who we are, and the reinvention cycle will always help us to get to that point.
Moncrief said his self-help books may be similar to others, but his might be the one that sparks someone to change.
My attitude is, you change sometimes when you get information from different sources, and then you never know when that one source is going to make you say, aha. And I'm trying to create the aha moment for someone. I feel good about my life. I don't have as much money as I had in the bank 15, 20 years ago. Even after basketball, I was still very successful and made more money after basketball than I made playing basketball. But I came to realize that my success, or my contentment, my joy, my peace was not really about money or material things. And that really helped me to write an honest book.
I do not like them here, there. I do not like them anywhere. I do not like Renee to him. I do not like them. Good job. Here we go. Could you in a
Helping
car,
kids
get
learn
them,
to read
get
is the
them.
primary
Here
focus of
they
Cops and
are.
Kids. Julia Weatherspoon started the program almost 2 decades ago.
Comprehension is a lot of the problems with children in schools. They don't understand what they read, because comprehension is not something that can be taught to you. You have to practice. And a lot of our children don't have anything at home to practice with. There are no books at home. They go home and you think, well, why not? Books are very expensive to buy. And you say, well, the parents shouldn't have the kids if they can't give them books. But that's not the children's fault. They're here now.
The program takes students from kindergarten through middle school.
I think if we can give kids books, have them read, get their comprehension levels up where they can understand the test, they'll stay in school. A lot of kids act up in school because they don't understand the curriculum, they don't understand test day, they're not ready, so get in a fight, get kicked out of school, get in trouble, and then all of a sudden you look up and they're old and they're dropping out of school. What Cops and Kids does is it gives children confidence. It builds confidence in them to say, you can't read. We're like, we tutor them in reading. We tutor them in reading so that their confidence level goes up. If their confidence level goes up, Then reading comes, math comes, science comes, all that comes, and attendance comes, because then their attendance goes through the roof at school. And that's what we notice. And at Cops and Kids, they're not allowed to tease each other. A lot of kids at school won't read because if they miss a word, kids laugh at them. Or they're raggedy, or they're tattered, or they're torn. And they won't read because they are afraid to make a mistake. And once you tease a child, you can some kids you can tease and tease and tease. But some children can only take one teasing and they won't read again. So what we do at Cops and Kids, we work on bullying. You cannot if a child doesn't know a word, you help them with the word. You don't laugh at them, and that's a big part of reading. So we get them into reading, we give them lots of free books, and then we do a lot of read-arounds where they read together, they read out loud, they raise their hand. We have them practice raising their hand, because you know there's a lot of children in school that know a lot. I was one of those kids, but because I was poor and tattered and torn, I wouldn't raise my hand because I didn't want to be called on, and I didn't want to go in front of the board because I didn't want the kids to laugh at me, and that's happening today. But a lot of us don't realize that.
You guys have a pretty strong reading curriculum here at the center. How did you develop that reading curriculum?
It was developed by retired teachers. We have real retired teachers that work for us, and all of our curriculum is developed by teachers in the district that were in the district.
How many do you have?
I have 3 on staff, and then we have teachers and doctors and whatnot that volunteer.
Julia began the program while a police officer. While responding to a 911 call, she found a warehouse full of books.
When I asked the chief if we could give the books out, once I put them in my trunk of my squad car, I would just drive up in my squad car in uniform, and I said, "You guys come here, I got books for you." And those kids would just swarm. And it was like, "We want this one, we want that one, we want this one." And then it got to the point, after doing that so long, it got to the point that children were actually chasing us down the street. They were chasing after police cars. "Do you have babysitter clubs? Do you have Barney in there? Do you have this? Do you have this?" And they were really chasing us down the street for the books. We're going on a bear hunt. Oh, we gotta get the big one. What a beautiful day.
The students really enjoy the program.
When I come here, we read a book to ourselves, and sometimes we read with another teacher, and then we work on grammar and vocabulary and stuff. And then we go upstairs and do IQ on the computers. It really improves what I learn, and it helps me outside of school and stuff.
Julia, what happens on a daily basis here at the center?
Well, during the day when there's school, the children are not allowed at Cops and Kids. We're an enrichment center for the school. We're not, if I don't go to school, I can go to Cops and Kids. We're not there for that. We're here to enrich them. So during the day, they're not allowed here. They have to go to school to come here. They have to go to school. And then they'll come after school. Now, the kids will start coming in between 4 and 4:15. They start coming into the center for the after-school program. And in that after-school program, the first thing we start off, we give them a snack, because they're hungry. So we give them a snack. And then they have a story. I read, we read books to them. The librarian reads them a story. I'll read them a story. The teacher reads them a story. They get a story time. Because when I grew up, I never had a book read to me at home. And I want to make sure that I change that they have books read to them someplace other than school. And then they have curriculum that's set for them. They have computer classes. We have a computer lab that actually was furnished by NBA Washington Wizards, Karan Butler, which was one of my children that I helped mentor when he was young. And so they have computer lessons and those kind of things here.
The program has become international with 70 chapters worldwide.
We've got quite a few chapters of Cops and Kids. We've got over 70 and counting. And we're in South Africa, Venezuela, the Philippines. And I just had a district attorney call me. She's going to start one in the Virgin Islands of St. Thomas. Who is that?
your body, you found somebody who makes you change your ways, like hanging with your crew. Said you act like you're ready, but you don't really know. And everything in your past, you wanna let it go. I've been there, done it, messed around. After all that, this is what I found. Nobody wants to be alone. If you're touched by the words in the song, then baby, you got it bad. When you're on the phone, hang up and you call right back. Oh, you got it bad. When you miss a day without your friends, your whole life's off track. No, you got it bad when you're stuck in a house. You don't wanna have fun. All you think about, you got it bad when you're out with someone, but you keep on thinking about somebody. You got it bad when you say that you love them, and you really know that everything that used to matter don't matter no more. Like my money or my car, you can have it all. Flowers, cards, and candy, you it just cause. Said I'm fortunate to have you, girl. I'm so glad you're in my world. Just as sure as the sky is blue, I blessed the day that I found you. Never seen the sun shine like this. Never seen the moon glow like this. Never seen the waterfalls like this. Never seen the lights off like this. Never dug anyone like this. Never had tasty lips to kiss. Never had someone to miss. Never heard a song quite like this. Fortunate to have you, girl. I'm so glad you're in my world. Just as sure as the sky is blue, I bless the day I found you. Said I'm fortunate to have you, girl. Want you to know I really adore you. All my people to know what's going on. Look at you, mate. Help me sing my song. Tell them I'm yours. You're my girl. I'm gonna tell it to the whole wide world. You say I'm your girl. You're my man. Promise to love you the best I can. See, I've been there, done it, messed around. After all that, this is what I found. Every one of y'all just like me. It's too bad that you can't see. You got it bad. You got it bad. When you're on the phone, hang up and you call right back. Oh, you got it bad. When you miss a day without your friends, your whole life's off track. Oh, you got it bad when you're stuck in the house. You don't want to have fun. All you think about, look at yourself, baby. Bad when you're out with someone, but you think thinking about somebody. You got it bad.
Before we close tonight, a reminder that we need your help in saluting our elders. If you know someone who is at least 70 years old and has made significant contributions to our area, we want to hear from you. Tell us who that person is, what he or she has done, and how we can get in touch with you. Email us at tvviewer@mptv.org or write us at Black Nouveau, 1036 North 8th Street, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 53233. And that's our program for this week. For Black Nouveau, I'm Joanne Williams. Thanks for watching. Good night.